Hello everybody, how are you today? Over the past couple days I've been talking about shadow blocks and how you sabotage yourself, how you get in your own way. And I realized that maybe some of you aren't even sure what a block is. Because it's people think of blocks differently. When people hear sabotaging, they view somebody in your office taking something off your desk so you can't do the report, or somebody taking credit for what you did at a meeting. And that is sabotaging, but the self blocks, the self inner sabotaging work are called blocks, or in my case I call them shadow blocks, because a lot of times you don't understand that issue is even an issue for you. You don't even understand that there's a challenge to that, because it's considered a shadow block. It's something repressed. So you can recognize shadows is in a couple ways. If you keep trying something and it's not working out, no matter how hard you work at it, it doesn't work out, there's probably a block there. For instance, is weight loss. You lose 10 pounds and you put on 5 pounds, and you just are on this weight loss roller coaster. There's a block there that every time you get to a certain number, you go back up. You want to start your own business, and it's kind of going okay, but it's not going great. Or you start your business, and this is actually a better example. You start your business and you start making money, and you decide to change focus areas. So you change. Then you make money, then you change focus areas again. You won't settle on any one thing, and that's probably a money block, because every time you make money, you switch real quick. That's how you recognize blocks, from when you can't seem to accomplish what it is you really want to accomplish. There's going to be something sitting within you that is preventing this from happening. I love to write. I've written 2 books. I love to write. But when I was growing up, my aunt, Dolores, would write these huge, she'd type them. Back then I had typewriters, these huge, and those millennials out there listening, I hope you know what a typewriter is, but these huge novels. And my mom would just mock her, as my mother's sister, and she would just mock her and be like, oh, she has dreams of being this, William Michener, and that's never gonna happen, and plus she'll never make any money. So I grew up with the block that authors never make money. So why waste your time? Because that's what she said all the time. I don't know why she's wasting her time. She'll never make any money. It didn't matter that my aunt just loved to write. My mother equated, if you're going to do something, you better be making money or don't do it. So, well, that's developed some interesting blocks for me, because I hesitated to write because I love to write, but it was wasting time and I won't make any money from it. So I had to work through that. That's what a block looks like. It's when you can't quite figure out why you're not moving forward. If you're not moving forward in a positive direction, something's in your way. If you start this business and it's doing well, but everything you're offering is free, and you're getting ready now to monetize it, and you're challenged monetizing it, you have to ask yourself, why first were you giving everything away for free? And a lot of times, a lot of coaches will tell you to do that to get started. I don't necessarily recommend that. I recommend that you have a balance between free and charge, because once your client gets used to free, they're not going to go back to anything other than free. So I would recommend you stick with that model. But so I talked to her, and she had a million reasons why her clients wouldn't pay her. And it finally came down to, she just had this raging money block that she shouldn't get paid for services like that, because good girls don't get paid for services like that. Now, it was a business service, so there's nothing lurid or bad about it, but that's how she was raised. Women take money from their bosses in a form of a paycheck. She was the boss, so she viewed it differently. She viewed it almost in a form of prostitution. She was one of my most interesting clients, trying to help her work through that, which, we did, and her business is doing really well now, by the way. But I won't give you her name, because she lets, a lot of my clients will say, you can use my story, but don't identify who I am. But she was interesting. We all have stuff. You just have to understand what your stuff is, because once you can understand what's standing in your way, once you can figure that out, then moving forward becomes easier, because you'll start to see the pattern. You know, okay, every time I start doing this, I have a deadline to meet. All of a sudden I start reading a book. Or, you know, I start getting clients and I decide to retool my whole business. I start losing weight, and you know, a lot of things you're going to see from me over the next month and a half is weight loss, because December, New Year's Eve resolution, number one New Year's resolution is weight loss. It'll be interesting to see though in 2021, because I think a lot of people lost weight in 2020 because what else did they have to do? But anytime you see an impediment to your progress, or when your friends say, oh, I knew you were going to say that, or oh yeah, you always do that. You know, sometimes they mean it not, you know, kind of snarky, oh, you always do that. But you have to listen, and it's not to put more value in their comments to you or their opinion of you, and I'll be talking tomorrow about people's opinions, but their opinion of you. But what is it that they're saying you always do? Because your family and your friends will recognize your blocks faster than anybody, because they see them, they've watched them play out. And you can have people around you that are your biggest supporters. And if you sit down and you ask them, well, what do you think? And they'll be like, why haven't you moved forward? My golly gosh, what is holding you back? That's when you have to start looking inside. You really have to figure it out. And there's different blocks, there's different layers. There's easy to find blocks, you know. My teacher said that, you know, girls could only be nurses and teachers. Clearly, you know, at my age, I'm in my 60s, so that was common. We could only be nurses, teachers, or secretaries. That was it. You couldn't be anything else. So I joined the military because I thought, well, to be a medic, but I thought, I'm not sure I want to be a nurse. For sure don't want to be a secretary because I don't drink coffee and I'm not bringing coffee to anybody. And a teacher's for sure off the table. So you develop these blocks of, you know, am I worthy to have this job because I'm a woman, should I have these jobs? Blocks come in many, many shapes and sizes. But again, if you're not sure if you have a block, ask your friends. If you're married, ask your husband or your wife or your significant other. They always know. And if you need help finding them, reach out to me. You know, drop over to Possibilities Cafe. It's my free Facebook group. I actually am doing free group counseling today, free group coaching today at 6 p.m. Arizona time, 8 p.m. East Coast time. So stop in, ask questions. If you have questions, you can write them in the comments below, and I'll address them tonight at 6 on Zoom, and I will post the Zoom link for anybody who wants to participate. So take time and learn how to recognize blocks. Learn how to recognize what's stepping up or getting in your way. And if you can't find them, ask people around you what their opinion is. Not placing a lot of value in it, but just kind of seeing what they come up with. And if it doesn't resonate, let's talk. Because we can uncover those, and your gold's buried within those blocks. Because you're usually blocking that what scares you the most, and usually what scares you the most is what you're born to do. So I hope this helped you guys. Like I said, check out my group coaching every Tuesday at 6 p.m. on Possibilities Cafe, my free Facebook group. And if you have any questions, let me know. So here's to you igniting your possibilities and finding your blue rose. Thanks, guys.